Printing a map. So we've identified our point last seen, and we did enter some information associated with that point last seen. That's not mandatory you do so. As long as you have a point on a map that we can center the map around, that's all we really need. It's a bonus that we entered some incident information and a little bit of PLS information. So this is where we want to print our map around, and we've got a bunch of ground crews coming in, and we're going to need to brief them on what they're doing. So we'll quickly create a map. We have a series of map buttons. There's the Make Map button. We have Make Assignment Maps, and we have Make Multi-Scale Maps. Our first map of the incident is just going to be using the Make Map button. If I select that and bring up the dialog, there's a lot of information to be filled in here, but there's really only a few that are really essential. The others you can use the default values if you choose. Selecting the map template. So this is the MXD template that you're going to print. So decide what size map you are looking to print. If you have access to a plotter and you're going to print something out for a briefing, it would be nice to print a large scale, large size map. If you've only got access to a tabloid printer or a legal size printer, then we can select the appropriate template. So click the button to find the templates. This is where having the folder connections is very useful. I can quickly go back to the MapSAR training to see all the folders. I'm going to double click on the templates, and I'm going to choose a briefing map. There are 3 different scales in here. For this exercise, I'll choose a small briefing map just because it'll generate that a little faster on our screen. Click Add. You'll note that the red little splat went away there because now I have completed the requirements for this field. The destination folder, by default, it prints it to the inside the current incident into products. You can change that by selecting here and creating different folders or new folder structures. For here, we can just leave that as the default. The save name of the map, it's good to give it something meaningful here. This will print at the lower right-hand corner of the map and also be the name of the map saved on your hard drive. The good thing here is when someone comes back to you later and says, I need another copy of this map, it'll have this name printed on the map in the lower right-hand corner, but also the map will be called that same name on your hard drive, so you can easily locate the PDF, open it up, and generate a new map. The default here is my map with date and time. So we're just going to leave this one as standard right now, my map, date and time. The map title, it brings this title from the incident information, so the name of the incident. So by default, it puts incident : and in this case, search for Joe Blogs. You can edit this any way you like. You can add to it, change it completely. We could call this for Joe Blogs briefing map 1. So it can be called anything that you want, and this is going to print on the title of the map. The map scale, what size do you want to have this printed? We've got a whole selection of scales here from 3,000 to 100,000. If you don't find the scale that you want in there, go ahead and type it in and it'll scale the map appropriately for you. I'll leave this as 24,000 as we find that's a good scale. So here's the center map around. When we print this map, we need to tell it what we're going to print the center of the map around. So if I select here, I've got all these different possibilities that I can print a map around. The only one that exists right now is a point last seen in our incident, so I will go ahead and choose that. Now we need to choose the subject from the list. I did name my subject, so his name is Joe Blogs. If I hadn't have named the subject, if I didn't have time to do that, it would simply be called none, and you can go ahead and select none. Now this is PDF information, and what we've chosen to do is print all maps to the hard drive in PDF form and not directly to a printer. This serves a couple of purposes. One, it does store the map for reprinting whenever necessary. But number 2 is if you don't have print capabilities here, or you don't want to tie up this computer with printing, these can either be offloaded to a network or a thumb drive and given to somebody else to go actually print the maps. That way we're not tying up this machine Or if we don't have a plotter here, I could send someone, to the nearest fire station that might have a plotter and use their plotter to print these maps. We found that a good resolution is 300 dpi for most topo maps. If you need a higher resolution, you can just go ahead and select it. The PDF quality, we've also got these normal, best, better, and fastest. Again, normal seems to work well. Print base data is selected. Note that on my base data group, that my actual topo map is nested underneath number 14 base data. It needs to be there in order to print onto the map template. Then this is what information do I want printed on my map. Maybe I've got a lot of information on my incident and I've got clues, but I don't really want to print the clues out. In this case, I have a point last seen and I do want to show that on my map, so I will select it. Once you've completed the dialog, simply click OK to generate your map.